Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter, broadcasting from my office. It's so nice and warm up here. I'm still a little hoarse from my cold, but I'm feeling so much better. So today I have an art marketing video for you, and basically this goes out to all of you guys that are creative, that are thinking about becoming a designer. So you're probably thinking, Lindsay, what's the difference between being an artist or crafter and a designer? Well, basically, it comes from kind of looking at your work from more of a commercial aspect. Now, today's video is brought to you from Incelli. Incelli is a free tool for crafters and artists that want to sell their work online. If you have a smartphone and an Instagram account, you're seconds away from making your very own free Incelli store so you can sell your artwork all over the web. And we'll talk about that a little bit more. But basically, say if you're a painter, and you've set up a still life and it's gorgeous, and you're just getting ready to paint it, and you think to yourself, you know, I bet there's a lot of other people that would like to paint this same painting. So maybe you would approach the painting a little differently. Maybe instead of just painting directly onto the canvas without doing a sketch, you might draw it out on a piece of scrap paper first, and then transfer that to your canvas, and then kind of maybe make mental notes as you're painting it, so you would remember how you would describe it to somebody if you wanted to teach them how to paint it. And then you could either teach a class on how to paint that painting, or you could take a picture of that painting, your step-by-step instructions, your pattern, which is, you know, your drawing, and you could submit that to a painting magazine for them to publish. Therefore, not only could you earn money selling your finished painting, you could actually sell the pattern and the directions and the article about making that painting. So when you look at your work as a designer's perspective, you can see how you can make more than just one sale from a piece of artwork. And I want to share this with you. I actually found this when I was cleaning my office, preparing to make myself a little area up here to work. This is, it's kind of dusty. This is the first picture I ever had published, the first painting, and it's a colored pencil painting, and it's very dusty. I should have dusted this a little bit better. But when I first set up my still life to make this painting, it was a picture for my sister for Christmas, and as I had sketched it out first because I thought I might want to paint one of those for myself too, and I liked it so much that I submitted it to the Decorative Painter magazine, and they bought first-time rights for it. I wrote the article and did all the artwork for it, and that was a way for me to earn money on a painting that I was just going to give away. And then after the 6 month, the first-time rights, so after, like, you have to not show this work or teach it or anything for 6 months, or whatever your contract says. Then after that, you could start teaching classes on this, or, you know, maybe make the illustration for sale in some other way. So it's a kind of, being a designer, you're able to make your work for you a lot longer. So let's say you're a jewelry maker, and maybe sometimes you use other people's patterns and you make jewelry to sell. Well, that's fine and dandy, but maybe one day you come up with a fantastic idea for a necklace, and it's gorgeous, and everyone is asking you about it. Well, instead of just selling that necklace one time, where you may barely get your time and materials out of it, you could make a pattern, and you could sell that online, either in an Incelli shop or an Etsy shop, or right on your blog, website, Facebook page, or however you want to do it. And so instead of selling that one painting, that one piece of jewelry for $30, you could sell a $3 pattern 100 times. That's $300. That's better than $30, and you get to keep your necklace that you work so hard on. So think about what you make. Think about the unique things that you design. Because if you're a crafter and you're not just making what other people make, you're coming up with your own ideas, as we all do. Even you know, if you're just starting out right now and you've been following my tutorials and making what I make, you're eventually gonna go and you're gonna make up your own stuff. And you know, if you make something that's really cool that, you know, maybe you can't really exactly tell what you did at first glance, maybe you could teach a class on it. Maybe you could design a pattern so somebody else can make it. This is great for quilters and jewelry artists, any sort of crafters. Magazines pay money to have these articles in their magazine. You can put printable PDF files of instructions for sale in your shops online. The thing I really like about this is that I don't sell my crafts online, but I do sell painting patterns online. I sell digital stamps online, cutting files online, things like that I don't have to mail, because I know, like, my weakest link is the follow through and getting to the post office and sitting at the computer listing things. So if I can list a product one time, say it's a pattern for making some die cut boxes, I can list that one time and I can sell it 1,000 times and not have to do any other work after I list it that first time. So if you could think of your work like that, what can you do that can be perpetual, that you could keep earning money on? You could do quite well as a designer. So for me, sitting at the computer and listing every handmade thing I make would take so long, and then I'd have to ship it out, and I just know for me, getting things in the mail is like my Achilles heel. I just can't seem to get it together. And then you only sell that once. You know, so you can see how selling something a bunch of times is much better than selling something one time. So whether you're an artist or a crafter, a sewer, you can really, you know, make a lot of money that way, or at least, you know, make your work for you, I guess is the is the bottom line. So do you want to be a designer? Do you have any questions? Please feel free to leave them in the links below. I did make a few little notes here. So, you know, I did ask some people at Inselly if you could sell patterns on their platform, and they said absolutely, you could sell whatever you like. The things you will have to do, obviously, you have to get people to your shop. So if you have a Facebook page, even your personal Facebook page, you could say, hey, I have this new pattern to make this. Post that. If you have a blog, you can post it on your blog. That's the thing. You do have to get people to your shop or looking at your crafts and your artwork to see if they would want to do it too. Another thing that you might want to do is licensing, which is a little bit different than just selling a pattern. Like for my digital stamp designs, because I started in design, I was designing rubber stamps, and it was a lot of work, and you got paid one time. So I would work with a company, we'd get a set of images together, a lot of back and forth, a lot of work, and you get paid one time for that, all that work. No matter how much it sold in the future, you got paid once. So with when I would design a digital stamp set, I could design whatever I wanted. I didn't have to go back and forth with anybody else. I made what I wanted to make. I put it in my shop, and I had 2 commercial licenses. One was for, well, actually it was kind of 3. First was nonprofit. So like if you're a crafter, you just wanted to use it, maybe sell a few at a craft fair, your nonprofit license is fine. Then there was the commercial use credit required. So that would be, say you're selling cards made with my digital stamps online, you just have to say, you know, stamp from Lindsay Stamp Stuff. I mean, that's all I required. There was no fees or anything you paid back. That was included in the price of the kit. But say you wanted to use these digital stamps. Maybe you were a small stamp company and you wanted to just maybe make, you know, 10 or 20 sets of them, or you wanted to use them in your cards, but you didn't want to let your competition know where you got the images, then you could pay a $20 fee, and that would be commercial use, no credit required. I think it was something up to 100 uses. So if you were like a stamp company, if you're going to make like under 100 of something, you wouldn't have to put, you know, you'd pay that licensing fee and wouldn't have to put any more information. So, and then if you were going up to 1,000, then my commercial use fee would be like $100. So if you were a stamp company and you want to make 1,000 of these stamp sets, then you would pay the $100 commercial use fee, and you'd be all set to do that and not have to put my name on your packaging. So doing it that way, I got to earn more money from commercial use clients. I got to earn money from just crafters that wanted to just buy the stamps to use them for fun. And you know, I was able to sell that same product over and over and over again without doing any more additional work. Everything was handled digitally, so I didn't have to ship anything out. I didn't have to I moved over to a shop at my Graphico, so I didn't even have to email files, and that was really helpful for me. And it freed my creative time up so I could work on other projects. Like, you know, and another thing I do as a designer, which some of you crafters and artists out there might want to do, is that I work with different companies and I'll work with their products and showcase their products. So, I mean, here I've got some crepe paper on my desk from Paper Mart, and I'm working on some different crepe paper flower ideas and different things to promote that product and kind of bring awareness to what they have to offer. So that's another thing that a designer does. So I'm sure in the very, very broad field of design, you can find some way to use your marketable skills to bring you a little more income. But just think about the things that will bring you income time after time without having to do any additional work other than that first bit of design. So I hope that helped you. I hope that helped give you some ideas and some inspirations on how you can make a living as a designer. So, do you want to be a designer still? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you have to say. I'll put a link to Inselly in the video description if you want to check them out and perhaps set up your own shop for free. Very easy to do. If you have a smartphone, I think it would be probably the easiest way to get your stuff online to sell. I want to thank you so much for watching. Please give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you like art marketing videos. And until next time, happy crafting.